So Nvidia's RTX graphics cards are finally available for purchase, but in their current state are half asleep. The RTX platform is ridiculously premature at this point in time, with not a single game on the market able to even tickle the RT cores or Tensor cores in the new SM, meaning that they remain completely idle. Now, aside from not being sampled with the pre-release driver before launch and having to wait until this morning for the public driver to go live to even test out the RTX 2080s that I've had for about a week now, the fact of the matter is that if you're buying an RTX graphics card today, you're buying yourself into a premature platform which you cannot use the features of, and you're much better off getting yourself a 10 series card while the RTX platform has time to actually be implemented in games. In its current state, in pure rasterization performance, the RTX 2080 performs almost identically, and I mean within 1 to 2% of, the GTX 1080 Ti, which has been available for quite some time now, and more importantly, is about $100 to $200 cheaper at the time of filming. In the games that I had the time to test, which was about 2 or 3 hours, the 1080 Ti and RTX 2080 shift between first and second place on the stack, with no perceivable difference in gameplay smoothness between them. In Battlefield 1, I measured less than 1 FPS difference on average between them at 1440p, with both cards able to maintain around 144, and similar deal at 4K with very little difference between them. In Rise of the Tomb Raider, I tested with DX11 for the purpose of faster and easier testing, but I do recommend you use DX12 for improved 1% and 0.1% FPS results. But again, here I measured less than 1 FPS difference between the two on average, with a virtually identical result at 4K. Project Cars 2 showed a slightly bigger margin between the 2080 and 1080 Ti at 1440p, but the perceivable difference here was honestly unnoticeable, certainly not worth an extra $100 to $200. Warhammer Vermintide 2 had the 1080 Ti in front here although, and since we're using the built-in benchmark with very little margin of error, I believe these results to be accurate. Again, no perceivable difference here between the two at 1440p or at 4K. And lastly, in Shadow of the Tomb Raider, I tested again with DX11, but do recommend you use DX12 for playing. And to no one's surprise at this point, the two cards provide the same perceivable FPS, both at 1440p and 4K. I additionally did prepare the 10 series cards in 10 other games, but again, with Nvidia's press team deciding to cherry pick who got the pre-release drivers and who didn't, I was extremely time restricted, and I think you guys get the picture by now. The bottom line is that if you're looking to upgrade your current graphics card, a 10 series card from the stack that you see here is going to be the best option in terms of price to performance. The 1080 Ti does everything that the RTX 2080 can do at this point in time for quite a lot less. It tears through 1440p gaming and still delivers a quite capable 4K gaming experience. Now, of course, there also is the RTX 2080 Ti, and I don't have that with me, I haven't tested it, but I have seen benchmarks online, and there's no doubt that that card is the fastest one that you can currently get your hands on, but it's quite steep at a price of around $1,200 US for the Founders Edition, and more like $1,300, $1,350 for board partner cards that you see here. And I get it, some of you guys just want the best gaming experience that you can get your hands on, and if money was no object, I would definitely be going for the RTX 2080 Ti as it delivers performance close to a Titan V, but you have to ask yourself, is the difference going to be perceivable unless you have a 4K monitor? I personally don't think so. It comes back to the fact that RTX just isn't ready yet, and that's not to mention what incentive even is there for game developers to invest thousands of hours collectively on implementing, testing, and polishing the RTX development kit into their games for far less than 1% of users who can enjoy those features and effects. The time is much more productively spent on ironing out bugs, optimizing their game, and adding features and content that 100% of users can actually use. The GTX 1070, 1070 Ti, and 1080 are also very great offerings for the price in retrospect. These cards can deliver an exceptional 1080p and 1440p experience, and if you are planning on upgrading from a less powerful card right now, these are the cards, along with the 1080 Ti, that are the most sensible options. So to wrap things up, the RTX cards in their current form are half asleep, and I mean that in the literal sense. Almost half of the silicon in the streaming multiprocessor cannot be utilized in any game at this point. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm personally really excited for features like real-time ray tracing and DLSS to finally make their way into my favorite games, but as I said before, there's very little incentive for game developers to invest their own time and money in implementing it into their games, and from a consumer's perspective, I'm estimating at least 6 months to a year before these features and effects are polished and that people will actually want to pay for them. So guys, that's pretty much all I have to say regarding the new RTX cards, and more specifically the RTX 2080 that I had about 3 hours of time to test this morning in order to get a timely video out for you guys. We'll definitely revisit these cards down the road when RTX actually becomes something that we can test, but until then the 10 series remains the better option if you are looking to upgrade your system today. So guys, let me know what you think of the RTX graphics cards down below. And as always, I will see you all in the next one.